I work for MSD Animal Health Intelligence, who are the world leader in providing livestock intelligence. We have products like identification, monitoring, and milking. And as a part of MSD Animal Health, which is a bigger group, we have nutraceutical products, pharmaceutical products, vaccines, as well as the herd management software also. So as a vet, like you mentioned, I keep on traveling across the country, and I strongly believe that providing the basics right is the most fundamental requirement of farmer to become a successful dairy farmer. But on the top of it, I would say that monitoring the cows and record keeping is something which is really important. We have technologies which is cow monitoring technology that is very farmer friendly, and it can automate the different features like heat and health and different herd parameters of the farm, and that can be given as alert and different records to the farmers. I would say there are four main points to be a successful dairy farmer. One is, of course, and it starts from the mindset. I would say that dairy farming is an enterprise, and you are expected to be running it like a businessman. So there are risks and rewards, and like my colleague Nikki was saying, that there are challenges as well as opportunities. So you got to minimize the risk and maximize the returns. Now, what to maximize here is the question. So I would say that having more calves and more milk in the long term, in the overall lifetime of a cow, is something which is expected to improve the profitability and income of the farm. And for that, I think there are four main pillars. One, cow comfort. I would say that this is the backbone. Doing the housing and spacing right, bedding, very soft open area, air circulation, many other things like watering, air circulation, everything. If that is done and you have a cow in the farm, now you have to see the genetics, and you have to put your efforts around improving the genetics of those cows. So in this regard, I would say that cows do speak. I mean, we got to listen to it. So in a way that the style of their sitting, their walking, the way they are ruminating, it tells the whole story. We have to be really vigilant and seeing how they are behaving, whether they are a happy cow. I think they'll be surely be a profitable cow, and individual contribution of those individual cows are going to help the farmer, becoming successful and improving the income. So that is the second one. And the third one is about, of course, the feeding, overall dry matter intake, overall, provisioning of green and dry refuges. And we have a very good, event happening now in India, that silage is picking up, and that is ensuring the around the year availability of green refuges, which was lacking earlier. So that was one. Concentrates and additives are really important, because we don't have much like bigger institutions who are doing a lot of extension activities, and then it is our own awareness as to how to add different additives and concentrates to make the overall energy available to the cow to make it more productive. About the fourth pillar, I would say that vaccination and biosecurity is something that is really important. Summer stress, preventive approach to all these diseases are really important. Keeping a record. So for a record keeping, you must do monitoring the cow around the day and 24/7 for 365 days, I would say. And for that, record keeping is really important to know that who are the cows who are actually beneficial for the farm and profitable, and who are the cows who are pulling the profitability down, and how to make them profitable. That can be consulted with the experts. All in all, I would say that there are thumb rules: 300 days in milk. You have to maintain the dry period, voluntary waiting period of around 45-60 days, and all in all, intercalving interval has to be maintained between 14-15 months. Beyond that, the cow is going to pull down the profitability. So in the end, what I would say is the cow is a routine animal, and we all know that it prefers to eat at a fixed time daily. It prefers to relax and ruminate at a fixed time, and that makes it stress free. So look at the long term. I mean, a cow can give 4 cows and 4 lactation, and the same cow can also give around 8 cows and 8 lactation. So overall, the profitability and success lies in all our management things and the 4 pillar that we discussed. Of course, it is expensive, but it is affordable also, and it's just lens through which we look at it. And I would completely agree because the scale and big farm operation is something which is really hard to imagine nowadays without technology. But here, the point what I'm trying to put up here is I have a personal experience of installing the same technology of cow monitoring to all the farming scales, whether it is small herd size, medium or big herd size. And what we have learned in this process is, I mean, even a herd size of 10 milking animal or maybe 20 in totality and 10 in milking in the same herd size, we have installed that technology, which we have, and across the globe, we have around 6 million cows under Allflex cow monitoring technology. What we have learned and what our farmers talk is about an income which they are getting more in terms of saving more on the invisible losses which eventually are happening at the farm to the extent of around 25% in a year. And the technology cost actually gets compensated, or the technology earns for itself in 1.5 years or 2 years. But the bigger point is, I mean, whether it is big or small herd size, let us understand, try to discuss that whether the technology is essential component of the herd or it is a luxury. Because what we see is the basic fundamentals of the internal events that happen inside the cow, like rumination and activity and eating time. These things are really very, very important for us as a farmers to know, because other than the technology, it is almost impossible to know that whether the rumination is happening as per the desired level or it is going down. The veterinary science says that rumination is something which is really a direct indicator of health and well-being. On an average, a cow ruminates for around 8 to 9 hours in a day. So do we know that whether it is 20 cows in my herd or 2,000 cows in my herd, whether they are ruminating 8 to 9 hours in a day or it is less? Because if it is the direct indicator of health and well-being, monitoring the rumination can give us a lot of insider information, like early detection of disease, treatment efficacy and assessment of recovery of the treatment that is given to the cow, whether it is mastitis or indigestion. Right. There will definitely be a downward trend of rumination. When I say this, I mean, it is going to compensate for a little labor that we require, of course, the skill and experience that we require at the farm level, and the technology compensates for it. So, for example, on a calculation basis, if I say that if the technology of cow monitoring that gives heat, health and herd parameters known to the farmer, and the farmer then uses that data to take the data-driven intervention, when to inseminate and what is the most optimum time to inseminate the cow, and whether the cow is good to be inseminated, looking at the strength of heat, whether the cow is falling sick because the rumination is going down, how is the cow's health score, all these things, whether the rumination is whether the consistency of all these parameters are right in the farm, right. Especially in the feed change of fear, those things are really important. Promise that the invisible losses, which in a way, and I'm sure and confident being a veterinarian, which are happening at the farm, that can be saved to the extent of improving the income by at least 25%, because the heat services are going to be provided by the technology, and by doing that, the savings will be happening, not be missing out the heat. And we all know that from one heat to the other, there is a feeding cost of 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 rupees. So on a farm size of 20 that Nikki has, she will be saving on those fronts. She will also be avoiding, incurrence of any disease like mastitis, because before the clinical signs of the disease happens, she will be able to know that the rumination is going down and the cow is not eating, and the activity is very sluggish, and then she calls a vet or a paravet and gets the cow thoroughly checked to start the treatment well in advance. And by doing that, the invisible losses will be not happening to that extent. At the same time, there will be lesser time for the cow to recover from the little disease, whatever has happened, and by doing that, the cow will return to productivity very quick. So she will not have a lot of losses at the farm, and those are the direct savings that she can make, especially after parturition. Nikki, you must know that if the rumination time is not improving within 8, 9, 10 days, you should know that the cow's optimum milk production is not going to be achieved. And this technology would say that after calving on a daily basis, how rumination is helping you to know that whether the cow is coming back to the optimum dry matter intake and rumination, or it is not coming up, and how to intervene in time and improve the milk production. I would say that now the platter cannot be controlled, and this becomes the external factor. Now, what is there within our control is to optimize it, right? This can be optimized by looking at the changing trend of the animal behavior. When a platter is offered to the cow, how the trends are changing, whether it is rumination, activity, or eating, whether it is static, improving, or declining. So that change can be traced by using our technology, and this cow monitoring technology will help you understand how the overall group is behaving in terms of all these parameters versus one single individual cow. So if you identify that particular cow to be a repeat breeder cow, or a cow that is giving you losses, whether the digestibility, the overall intake of feed, and of course you have decided that the breeding is not optimum, whether the feeding is optimum and that feeding is leading to optimum milk production, that is also there or not, that we can evaluate out of this technology. And this supports my statement of saying that there are two major component and product of our dairy farm, that is calf and milk. So on each of the products, whether the cow is optimally delivering or it is less delivering, and because of that it is pulling down the overall profitability, that has to be seen through a technology. And this technology, once adopted, gives you the individual focus on individual cow's performance, and overall it adds to the overall profitability of the cow dairy farm. There are two important KPIs. One is age at first calving, that we have to really see, and it is related to what Pankaj just mentioned, that replacement stock and everything is related to age at first calving. And second key parameter is the intercalving interval. So I see it as if health and reproduction are interlinked. The outcomes are surely interlinked, and you require a very skilled as well as experienced eyes that is to be looking at your farm and individual cows 24/7. And for that, technology works for you. Cow monitoring technology, small, medium, large size herd, you have to install the cow monitoring technology. You should do it and see the difference, avoid the invisible losses which are happening, and look at the fantastic parameters that we have in the technology of rumination, how it is trending, eating time, dry matter intake, how it is improving, and look at the activity, whether it is highly active, sluggish, and that gives a lot of story about the health and reproduction of the cow. So in the end, I would say that cows speak through their behaviors. You need to have the right experienced eyes working 24/7 to understand what it is speaking and to understand what is their needs are, and that's where technology helps you. So I would suggest go for the technology right from the beginning. When you are smaller and expand it, it will help you and it will earn for itself in the due process of time.